All right, folks. So somebody had a request for some type of indicator on the TradeStation forums, and was my attempt to create it. So you see it; it looks a little bit different here. We're going to change this up a little bit, but this is my sim account, so I've just been placing some random trades just so I get something on the chart. Um, and I want to show you how to make something similar to this. This is the idea that they had was to have like a percentage based scale. You see the percents on the side over here. Have a percentage based scale, and then you can see just from you've got like a whatever you might have as your benchmark. So I've got ES on here, the futures, but I mean obviously ES is and futures are different than stocks, but um, what we're really looking at is being able to have a label of the ticker all on the same chart. Now, so the idea of this was so that you could take whatever positions that you have. You see, I have all these open positions. So have whatever positions that you're in show up on one chart, and then the label, and then it'd be labeled, right? Because if we had all these on the same chart, we wouldn't know what's what unless we click on it, right click on it, we see what it is, okay? But otherwise, we can right click on it and see this ELBM. ELBM is technically right here, but these labels here stop for a certain reason. It is because the basic chart here is the main data stream is ES. All right, and then the sub data streams are the other indicators, the other tickers, IVDA, ANRO, SPY, COOT, that kind of thing. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to code this, and hopefully it won't take too long. Hopefully I don't lose you too much in the process, and or I don't get too bogged down in telling you what I'm doing that I get hung up in what I'm doing. Okay, so let's open up a new. We'll open up a new workspace here. We're going to call this SOS position provider labels. Okay, let's bring this over here. Camera. Okay. So again, one of the main ideas here is that we are able to take what is what we have positions for, and they automatically go to the chart. So we'll work this one piece at a time. So in order to get the positions, let's go to this toolbox. We're going to open up the positions provider. We get the positions provider. We'll go to something of state change. PP, we'll go to the attributes. We change that to PP. Just change the name. We don't need to filter anything. We do want to load it. So again, when we get to state change, that means that if it's loaded, then we want to do something. So we'll say if pp.state equals, in order to get the state here using ts data.common, pp.state equals data state dot loaded, then we want to go through a loop for IDX of A is equal to pp dot count, and we'll start from 1 to pp dot count. If it's loaded and count is greater than 0, and we only want to do this once because we're going to do it at the beginning of the chart. We're going to find out what all these position providers are. All these positions are. So if the state is loaded and the count is greater than 0, then once for the index of 1 to, actually we're going to go index of 0 to pp count minus 1, begin. So now what do we want to do here? Here we're going through the position providers and we're seeing what all these symbols are that we have. Okay, so for each symbol that we have in this count, we need to add a new data stream. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the command line. Run command. And what is the command that we're going to use? It's .is, I think it's .isy or isyl. Let's right click on this, definition of command. A couple things here, command line reference. And then we do find isy. ISY will insert a symbol. Okay, so ISY, and then what do we want to insert? We want to insert whatever symbol is here. So pp dot position of that index dot symbol. Okay. All right, and these have got to be, this has got to be a string. So string plus that, and then this is a string. Okay, so now that we've sorted through here and we've added all these symbols to the chart, now we need to work on the labels. Okay, so, and there's a couple things here. So one thing is every time we reload this chart, it's going to want to add these symbols all over again. Okay, so we only want to load these multiple times. We'll just say if we have the one symbol, we'll have the benchmark. If we have the benchmark on the screen, then we'll load this. Otherwise, we're not going to load it. So only if we have one data stream on here do we load these symbols. Okay, so we need to find something that will capture how many data streams we have. We'll go to toolbox, charting host, change the name, and so we'll say if it's loaded and we have a count and the charting host dot data streams dot count is equal to 1. And we'll verify that, no errors. Come over here, we'll add a new chart. Okay, new chart. Maybe the 1 minute time frame. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we'll add this SOS PP labels. Use the command line, insert analysis technique, IAT, and then you just type in what the name of the study is. Just like that. Hit enter, and then it'll find that study, and then it'll add that study. Now we have to do a few things here because it needs to allow us to run a command line. So it's thinking really hard. But don't worry, TradeStation and EasyLanguage has been doing a lot of thinking here over the last week or two. With updates and re-updates and uninstalling updates. It's been a bit of a mess. All right, this is going really slow right now. There we go. But did it do anything? No. Enter. Is it going to do the same thing? SOS PP. I didn't put the underscore after labels. But you see, I guess it's searching. Huh. Interesting. I assume that it would just be a dictionary and it would look for this as like a key. But it looks like it's probably searching through every single script to find SOSPP labels. And because there's an underscore here, it can't find that exact text. And it's still searching through every single script that I've ever made, because that took a long time. Now, if I put that underscore here, you should find it right away because it's there. So, and if I recall correctly, this is not case sensitive. Like a lot of stuff with EasyLanguage, when you put it in, especially text stuff, is case sensitive. This is not case sensitive. So it's just taking a long time. And there it goes. Okay. All right, but we're going to need to go to Edit Studies. Like I said, double click on that. Enable Run Command. Anytime you have a run command, a command line, a macro, or something like that in your EasyLanguage, you're going to have to enable the run command. We'll put off for the confirmation. That way it'll just do it automatically. We hit OK, and then we hit close. All right, when we do that, now we probably have turned off, turn it back on. But what I want to do before I do that is, in order to get the chart to look like the other one, we're going to change this to, we're going to double click on the chart, and then we're going to go to Style. You can go to, not dot on close, line on close. Scaling, we'll go to right axis, and then, actually, I'll tell you what, just double click on the background, and then go to percent change chart, hit enable on that, hit OK, and then it'll change it automatically. Okay, it'll change the scale, and it'll change the type, the line type, the chart type. Okay, so I think I already have, if you double click on the line though, if you double click on the values, you can go to scaling, and then you'll see that the default should be right axis subgraph 1. I'll set that as a default. That way, hopefully, when we add all these other tickers, it'll add it right to this same subgraph. All right, we'll go and we'll add this back. And when we add that back, you see all these tickers just add it right to the chart. Okay, so now that we've got that set up, now we've got the tickers on there. So again, now if I go in here and I take it off and then I go back and add it, it didn't add new symbols. Why didn't it add new symbols? Because at that point, we already have, I don't know, 10 data streams on here, right? And so now it's not going to run back through this again, okay? So that's good. We've got this only one time. So now all we have to do is add the labels. All right, so we have a method void x labels. Okay, and thank you to Siri on the forums, because I know I've been through it before, but I was drawing a blank with how to access a data stream, right? So all you have to do is do data of n, right? With n being the number of your data stream. Otherwise, you can reference, all right, what is you can say like value 99 is equal to the close. And if you leave close, then it's just going to be of the default data stream. Or you can say close of data, you see down there, data 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, data 2. Or you could do, and you see that verifies, or you could do data parentheses 2. Okay, and that verifies, okay? If you couldn't do parentheses 2, then we'd have a hard time putting IDX of A, putting a variable in here. So now we can use a variable, so that's very cool. All right. So, and there was a workaround around that I had, which was using a K-switch, but that would have been a lot sloppier. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to add the labels, and let's see. I'm going to add the labels at the module level, because we're going to end up updating the location of the levels. So this would be a text label, T label. And we need to use these drawing object namespaces so we can access text label properly. All right, so T label. So now when we draw the labels, we're going to draw, we'll just say when we're on the last bar on the chart. If last bar on the chart, then we're going to draw the labels once and then we'll update the labels. So if last bar on the chart, then once X labels, and then we'll update them. Instead of drawing them completely over and over and over, which would be a little bit more intensive for the compiler and the development environment, the system. Okay, so we're going to do what is it? T label. T label is equal to text label dot create. Sorry guys, it's 9:40 at night, so I'm just eking this out. All right, so we're going to use the bar date time. So we're going to use the date time point, dt point dot create. And we're going to use bar date time. And then what price? What price do we want to use? Well, we're not just making one label, right? We're making multiple labels. We're making as many labels as there are in the data stream. So for gosh, I've been programming all day. I did take a break, but I am toast. Count -1. So the data streams. So the data streams count is going to give us a number, but it doesn't have a zero. It's not zero reference or zero base. So we'll just start at IDX of A equals 1 to data streams.count. Yes, that's right. Okay, begin bar date time, and then what price do we want this label to be at? We want it to be at the close of, is where I was showing you earlier, the close of data. What data stream? The index of A data stream. And that's the date time point. And then what do we want it to say? Well, we want it to say the symbol of that data stream. So symbol of data of IDX of A. I think I can get away with this. I'm doing this a little bit different than I made it originally, so let's hope this works. Drawing objects. Add T label. First, we're going to go ahead and lock it. Okay, and we'll end that. Okay, so that ought to draw the text label for all of our data streams one time when we're on the last bar. Dun, 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 dun. All right, it doesn't like something. It's in that. It's in this method here. This T label text labels I create. Let's make sure we have open and close parentheses. So what I'm doing when I'm clicking on this, I'm looking for this right size parentheses to light up. Okay, so this one lit up, so we're missing a parentheses. Okay, so date time point, we can have our bar date time, and then we have our price. Oh, we need a close parentheses for that date time point I create. All right, verified there. Okay, so now we drew it, but nothing showed up. So what we're going to do is just make sure that it does persist at this time. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, and you see where, now you see where our labels are. So here is our indicator. Turn that off, turn it back on. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you, because there's the same thing that happened on this workspace. Okay, wherever it's at. It's back there somewhere. Okay, but what's happened is because ES runs on a different chart time frame than the rest of these. So the rest of these are stocks. ES is futures, and so futures shuts down at 5 o'clock. These stocks keep going until 8 o'clock though. Okay, so instead of having that, instead of having ES as our first data stream, let's get rid of that. See if we can remove it. Well, I know they said you can't remove the first data stream, so instead of removing it, we're going to change it to Apple. Okay, now when we change it to Apple, now since our benchmark keeps going all the way to 8 o'clock, all of these updates keep going all the way to 8 o'clock, right? Even ES, though it's on here, ES stops back here at what, 5 o'clock, but we still have the update right here. Now, if you wanted to change that so that it stops when you have the last bit of data, then that's going to be something different in the code. And that's not something I'm doing right now. But we've drew this once, and because the chart is not moving right now, it's not live bars, you won't be able to see it update from one bar to the next. But we'll have to take it for granted that it will work properly once we update. So if it's on the last bar on the chart, then once we're going to draw the labels, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put all these labels into a vector, and then we'll update the endpoint. So we'll have a vector called VLabels. And once VLabels is equal to new vector, we're able to do this before we run our last bar on the chart and draw our labels. But when we do draw our labels, we're going to insert, or insert is a little bit more, takes a little bit more energy, effort than a pushback. So we're going to push back a T label. Now you see nothing came up when we went to our dot operators for VLabels. That's because VLabels is of the drawing of the collections. So we have to add that namespace. All right. So now that we have that, we added the labels. So now we're going to update the labels. Last X, then once labels, and last X, then we'll make this into a block. Begin. Once we're going to draw the labels, and then on every bar we'll say if VLabels dot count is greater than 0, then X update labels. And that will be a new method. Okay, so we're going to go through the loop of the labels that are in the vector. So for IDX of A is equal to 0 to VLabels.count minus 1, we're going to begin. We're going to set the endpoint. So we need a temporary label, which will be text label, temp label. Temp label will be whatever is in the VLabels at IDX of A as type text label. And then we're going to say temp label dot set point value. What is it going to be? It's going to be the same kind of point we did before. Remember, you can't mix and match your points when you're changing or updating the points. You can't mix and match them. You get crazy results. So we're going to do another dt point.create, and we're just going to do it for the current bar date time. And then what price do we use? Well, now we got to find the price of this label. Well, we don't know if this label was Spy or Apple or Microsoft. And even if we do know if it's which one it is, we need to know what the close, what the value is. We need to know what, the close of the data stream. So we're looking for the close of a data stream. Close of data what? Okay. So now what we need to do is, all right, well, when we drew this label, it's associated with a data stream, right? Let's tag that data stream onto the label, because it'll come over here. It'll pull out of this vector, right? So let's say t-label dot tag text is equal to, now it's text, so it's got to be a string. So we'll take the number, which is the data stream, number to string, the number and the decimals. So the number is going to be the number is just going to be IDX of A and 0 decimals, because that's the data stream that it is, right? Let's make sure. Yes, that's the data stream that it is. Okay, and so now when we come back down here, we're going to say, all right, well, we're doing the close of data what? Data stream what? Well, to get that data stream off this temp label, we'll just say temp label dot tag text, just like that. Okay, but that's a string. We have to turn it to a number. So in order to turn that into a number, we go string to number. Okay, and so now we have our DT point, bar date time, close of that, close of data stream. We have that, and we need one more for that, close the DT point, and then one more to close the set point value function. And that should be it. Okay, it's expecting a close of the parentheses, 5341. Did I not get the right number? Nope, looks like I'm missing one. Okay, so we have this one is for that. This one is for the data. Okay, this one is for the date, time, point, create. All right, and then we need one more. Okay. All right, good, no errors. Okay, and then you see everything is updated. All right, so fingers crossed, we should have no trouble when the chart updates. This will just jump as the chart moves. It'll go to the new date time, and it'll go up or down relative to where we are. Now, one of the things that I considered that I wanted to be able to do is move this label a little bit more to the right. And so I've been able to do that before with bar number point by just saying the bar number 2 bars out. But bar number doesn't work well with multiple data streams, and they have different bar fulfillment. Some of them have empty bars where there's no data traded. They have different sessions, all that kind of stuff. So you really need to use date time point on this one. Okay, so, but if I wanted to move this a little bit more to the right, I was thinking, I said, hey, I should be able to just pad the string. And I saw something the other day about how to pad. It was with another programming language, but I think I would have to do something like this. String symbol, string symbol is equal to this symbol, because all we need is a string out of it, but we're going to pad more spaces to the left. So we're going to say string symbol dot was it format? So now I'm just kind of playing around, guys. So I mean, most of this work is done. So if you need to hop off, you certainly can. But again, I started this whole broadcast, I started this whole podcast with me teaching you or showing you how I learn, what I learn, when I learn something new. So um, this all here is something a little bit new that I learned. So I'm just about to learn something new now, or I'm just going to explore for a while. We'll put it that way. All right, so string symbol, or maybe it was dot format. No, I feel like we just go right into like that, and then -1, negative, like maybe -20. And so if Apple uses 4 spaces, then that -20 means that it'll put another 16 spaces to the left of it. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what my head is saying it's supposed to do. But let's. I'm sure it'll show us. Substring start index, remove index, insert. I don't want to just insert stuff. Ends, concat, compare. Yeah, I feel like it was a string format. String format, then args. String format. So we're going to do string symbol again. And then I'm getting into uncharted territory here now. So what if I do a 0, because that's the placeholder, and then what are we going to format? We're going to put string symbol in there, and then we're going to go -18 on it. And then we're going to close that, then we're going to stop that, and then we're going to do that. Nah, it didn't like that at all. Okay, we got that. All right. Let's go to string format. I think it's under composite formatting. It's this kind of stuff here. Like I said, I'm not a programmer, so this is unfamiliar to me. Padding. -8 left justifies symbol index 1. This is actually exactly what I'm looking for. I'm doing it with the symbol. So symbol, symbol, symbol. Well, here. Padding it to 8 characters in length with blanks. Well, where is this symbol at? Okay, so this is, instead of putting the 0 here, okay, so this is the 0, this is the 1, this is the 2, but then the extra formatting, that's why it's called composite, or maybe component, okay. All right, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, so we're gonna put the 1, and then we'll put the, all right, let's see. So instead of putting the negative 18 here, we will put it, and it won't be a negative 18, it'll be a, and we'll just do 10. Verified that, and it still didn't like that. All right, let me first get this out of here, make sure, yeah, I was gonna say make sure I didn't mess anything up, but I didn't. And string symbol, numeric expression expected, string symbol. And this is, oh, was negative 8? Was negative? Okay. Sorry. Negative 10. Either way, that's not what, oh, still have to put it in. I was thinking I didn't have to use the parentheses, but still have to use parentheses. Okay, cool. All right, so I got that. But like I said, that doesn't look like it's padded to the negative 8. Left justifies a symbol. Okay, so the negative 8 left justifies it. So we need the positive 10 to right justify it? No? Well, that didn't help. That didn't move it. Let's go 20. And that didn't move it either. However, no, because that's the creation. So the symbol should be the same. Even once we update it here, the symbol should be the same. So well, I mean, we tried. We tried. It would be similar to doing this. I just put a couple spaces in here and then hit plus. Okay, well, you see what we just did, we added spaces here and it still didn't stretch it out. So that being said, I'm feeling like it's ignoring our spaces. So let's make sure we know where the anchor point is. So we'll dotlabel dot horizontal style equals horizontal style dot left. Okay, now let's try the right. Yeah, so when we do the right, it anchors from the right side of the string. So left is correct, but we're supposed to have more spaces here. We're supposed to have spaces at the beginning of this bad boy. Oh, I see. Because we copied this, but we never changed the... Okay. There we go. All right, cool. Yeah. All right. So now we can take these spaces out. All right. And now we're just working with our padding that we assign here. Very good. So like I said, if you don't want any padding to the left, put it right on it. Or if you want some padding, cool. Okay. All right. And so 10 will be padding to the left. Negative will be padding on the right. Okay. I'm sure that makes sense somehow. But like the negative must mean that you are justifying to the left. Okay, well, I guess I could just look at it that way. A positive integer means that you're justifying positive integer. Positive 10 means that you're justifying 1, 2, you're pushing everything to the right. And a negative integer would mean that you are moving everything to the left side of the equation. And then you have your zeros on the right side. Okay, yeah. Negative would mean you're pushing it to the left, right. Positive, you push to the right. Okay, all right, got it. All right, well, folks, again, this is my learning session for today. Hope you learned something. If you did, hit the like button. You know what? Do what you want to do. Like I said, I do these frequently. I try to do them as frequently as I can. Um, but there will be times when I don't have anything to do. So when I do have stuff to do, I hope you get something out of it. Um, when I don't, then so sorry. So sorry for you. IONZ. What happened to our label here? Is it stuck in here somewhere? Who's in here? Who's in here? Who's in here hiding? I don't know who's in here. Okay, well, that's the text for Apple. Might be something else under there, but I'm more worried about IONZ than anything else. There's bit F. Okay, let's take a real quick look here. Make sure that everything got updated. Well, we did start on last ball on the chart, so everything should be there anyway. But IONZ. IDX of A equals 0 to data streams.count. And I'm pretty sure data streams start with the 1. Because if they started with a 0, then we would have missed it. Between 1 and 50. Okay, so data of 1. But I believe data streams starts at 0. PP count. I know this starts at 0, is 0 base. 0 to PP count minus 1. IDX of A equals 1 to... Oh, yeah, we dropped one off because this now if we had went 0 to data streams.count minus 1, that would have been fine. But data streams also, I believe, starts at 1. Well, I believe the index starts at 0, but when you're talking about the count, it's just the count. So we can go to from 1 to the full count. All right, verify that. Come back, look over at this. There we go. All right, now we have everybody in there. All right, aren't you so happy? I am. Because again, we want to do things with the right understanding and get the results that we're looking for. All right, I sure wish I had the energy to show you a little bit more of what I've been doing with creating strategies and that kind of thing. I've kind of ramped it up quite a bit. So we will share a little bit more of that later. But in the meantime, yeah, I don't know. I'm spaced out, guys. Guys, I'm spaced out. All right. I'm Eric. I've been your host of Success Over Stress. I'm out. Peace.